Hi, John Hoffman and Maria Hoffman here, and we are here in the beginning of May 2025 for our monthly podcast. How are things going, Maria?
Well, we are busy getting homes on the market. That's how things are going.
Well, it's very interesting is that if like the job report came out today and it was much better than people thought. And so the stock market started to come up.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I want to talk about is what is being covered in the news, what's being covered in social media,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly is going on, because I think it all kind of affects the real estate world.
Yeah.
And case in point, Maria, is that if you go on YouTube and social media and these guys that are predicting the end of the world, the market's going to crash worse than 2010, pricing's dropping, price reductions. And I think that's just to get clicks, right?
Yeah.
Because they make money.
Yeah. I thought we already lived through the end of the world back in 2008.
Well, one advantage I think I have is getting licensed in 1986. I went through the S&L crisis, which most people probably don't know what that is. We went through the 2006 through 2010 debacle where for a while there, 85% of everything selling was a bank-owned or short sale.
Yeah, we were.
Then we went through COVID, and now we're kind of in the COVID hangover. But to give you an indication of how many pending listings, how many days did it take for these to go pending? In other words, we're going to ask Zach, the cameraman.
Yeah, somebody who's not in real estate.
Zach.
Yeah. Let's see if you're right.
Of all the pending listings, what is the percentage of those that went under contract in 15 days or less?
I don't know, maybe 8, 10?
8, 10. Actually, Maria.
Is he right?
Nope. The number is anywhere from 38 to 42% of all pending listings are under contract in 15 days or less.
Yeah, but Zach wouldn't know that if he was just watching the news.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Because it's all about creating ad revenue.
Yeah.
So, Maria, why do you think that is?
Well, John, I think that there is a real pent-up demand. And I think that buyers do want to buy. And when homes are coming on the market in good condition and priced right, there is absolutely a segment of the market that wants to buy them. We still have a net gain of population coming into Florida.
Well, and the other thing, Maria, it's the expectation of the seller, which is a challenge. The seller has a price that they need or they want.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to tell our clients, well, buyers don't generally take that into consideration, what sellers need or want is, do they?
Right. No, they're not sitting around the table saying, what does this seller need to get to sell? They're looking at their other choices. And the reality is we do have a lot more choices for buyers right now. The inventory is up from where it was last year and from where it was the year before. So
let's switch the conversation for a second.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that is having an effect is the interest rates. They've come down a little bit, then they go back up. They've come down a little bit. We know there's a pent-up demand because so many are going under contract quickly. I also think that there's a little bit of hesitation because of the tariffs, right? There's a bunch of political instability, and it's really hard for people to really know the truth. And I think once this kind of settles itself down a little bit and the confidence goes back up again and the rates start to come down, I think there's even going to be a greater demand than there is right now. What should homeowners do that aren't going under contract and they need 3-4 price reductions to finally find the market? What should they do before they even go on the market?
Yeah, well, this is a market, John, we've talked about it before, very condition sensitive. So we really need to take a look at the condition of the home. And you want to do everything your agent recommends and suggests, and maybe a little bit more. And then also to make sure that from a price standpoint, you're positioned as the number 1 or number 2 value amongst the competition. Those are the homes that are going under contract. And so in a market like this, which we've seen before, if you were to come out at, let's say, a high price to just try it, those are the sellers that are having to often make 1, 2, 3, 4 price reductions. And I'm seeing that every day when I'm going on presentations, and we're looking at the history in the neighborhood, and we're looking what the sellers have tried in the past year. So it's telling the story of what's happening.
Well, and the other thing is that sometimes I think it's the seller's fault for pricing it on what they want. And I think quite often, and maybe even more often, is that if their agent doesn't have the skill set to effectively price real estate and explain to somebody why that number's not obtainable, and the sellers will list sometimes with the agent that gives them the highest price.
Yes.
Because they think all realtors are created equally, but how many realtors in 2024, what percentage of realtors did not sell one home?
Oh goodness, I think it's a huge number, John. What is it now? It's the highest it's ever been.
It was 73%.
73% of agents did not sell a home
in
2024 of licensed agents.
And I think it was 85% sold 2 or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so selling real estate is coming up with a price, really takes a certain skill set. And so what's really heartbreaking is people that want to go on the market and they're being told that they can get this price and they don't, and then they got to go price reduction.
John, I study this because every month I look at every day what's coming off the market, expired and canceled listings. And so May 1st, we had, guess how many expired listings came off the market in our Tampa Bay area?
Gosh, I didn't look, but I would probably say 200.
Well, we had 121. And then we had another 63 canceled. So those are homes that have been on the market, have run through their contract, and just have not sold.
So that was 180 in one day.
In one day. And every day we're seeing homes that have entered the market getting all the way to the end of
Does that include the withdrawal, conditionally and unconditionally?
No, I didn't even include the conditional withdrawal.
Because what happens is quite often, upwards of 35% the agents are going to have it be a withdrawal, so it doesn't show up on their sales record as an expired. Yeah,
so what we can tell you that homes are coming off the market at a much higher rate than we've ever seen since really pre-COVID. Because during COVID, we had such a demand and there was almost nothing coming off the market not selling.
Yeah, so it's preparation, proper pricing, and the seller's understanding it. Because the other thing it's fascinating to me still is that 60% of all mortgages are under 4% interest rate. And so when sellers, if they want that extra money because they're going to maybe get a higher interest rate, and so that's part of the issue. And so it's very interesting with the pent-up demand that I still feel we have, is that once the rates do drop, there's going to be a big bump. And so I would tell anyone that wants to buy, if you wait for the rates to drop, there's going to be a lot more people entering the market.
We'll be right back where we started with the multiple offers. And John, you and we've had, I think, 3 multiple offer situations this past month right now going on. So that is still happening. So when the rates come down, and they will, right? I think we're going to be right back in that situation with buyers competing. So if you're wanting to buy, this might be a nice little window where you actually have a little bit more leverage.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, Maria, we just took our team to Valencia Ridge, a new 55 plus community in Wesley Chapel, right off of 56. What did you think?
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. So GL Homes, they've got 9 furnished models, so you can actually walk in and see every single model they build and walk through it. And it was fantastic. So our agents really enjoyed that. And so it's just part of what we want to do to have market knowledge. And
well, they've got smaller all the way to a bigger, 4 bedrooms, and these are nice.
Beautiful homes.
And so if people are, so now we have 2 fantastic 55 plus communities in the Wesley Chapel area.
Yeah.
And so I think that people need to be aware of that. And also right down the road, there's so much new construction in like Two Rivers, for example, right?
Right. That's going up fast.
And it's going up fast. The challenge they're having is that the amenity center's not built yet in either of these locations we talked about. And the retail's not there yet. And so it's a little turnoff to people to drive and maybe have to go 5 miles to get to Publix, you know? But the advantage is if you want to buy there now, is that because they're starting to do all the retail and the commercial development, in a couple of years, the popularity in these areas are only going to go up.
Right.
And so I think there's an opportunity for people to maybe want to buy and create some equity.
Absolutely. This is the time to get in on the ground floor. And we've helped a few people do that already, and we're excited to continue.
And West Bay has been offering, and they still are, a really good builder. They're offering $100,000 of flex money incentives to go off purchase price, to go off of upgrades. And so there still are some builder incentives that I think that buyers need to be aware of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, the advantage that we have is with 4 highly trained buyers agents, they all know all of this. And so that's why our clients, I think, are in really good hands. And so Maria, I want you to put on your crystal ball, hold it, and tell me what is going to happen in our real estate market between now and the end of the year.
Gosh, well, I think we are going to, I'm hoping that we've got some rate cuts up ahead, and that we're going to see more of the buyers that have been on the fence jump in and buy. And so I just see a good, strong, normal market, John. That's what I see.
Awesome. You want to know what I see?
What?
I think what's going to happen is this tariff situation is going to resolve itself. I think it's going to happen once it starts. It's going to go pretty fast. I think that the buyer confidence is going to go up. I think that the rates are going to actually come down a bit. And I think that we're going to have a stronger finish to the year than most people think. I think that the inventory is going to move and buyers are going to be able to buy because we have that pent up frustration. And the one thing that we like to do is have these conversations every month. So next month, if we see things are changing and maybe moving into a different direction, we'll let everybody know. But that's my crystal ball. I think things only get brighter and better. But what we do, Maria, is that we get together every month and we let everyone know what we see and what's going on. Because if you look at the media, the newspaper or local news, they're always 2 or 3 months behind. And the numbers that we talk about, I researched these numbers yesterday. So this is really cutting edge, what is going on right now. So everyone just stay tuned, visit us every month. If you have any questions or thoughts, put them in the comment section and we'll be happy to address it. Talk to you all next month.
See you soon.